Hey guys, it's let's see, Saturday, April 11th, 2015, and this is a nice Troy-Bilt lawn tractor that I just picked up, and it has the mower deck, but I've already taken that off, as well as the twin bagger, and it's a factory 17.5 horsepower Briggs single cylinder engine, overhead valve. I believe this is a 2006. The person that had it took very good care of it. It was kept in a shed, not out in the weather, so it's not all rusty. It's still essentially in very, very good condition, except for some strange reason, the 17.5 overhead valve Briggs & Stratton gave out on him. It actually threw a rod. So he decided that instead of fixing it or replacing the engine, he wanted a larger deck size. This is a 42-inch deck, and he was going to go with something in the 46, 50, 52-inch range or something, because he has a good sized property. So he had it up for $350 on Craigslist, but of course, me always looking for a bargain, I explained to him that a new engine can be $600–800, and it wouldn't be worth it to spend $350 and another $6 or $8 on this tractor, which I could buy brand new for $1,200 or so at Lowe's with the bagger and so forth. So anyway, I said, if you really want to get rid of it and no questions asked, I'll take it for $200. I think that's a fair price, and then I'll probably would throw a used engine on it versus a new one anyway. So I got it for $200. He agreed to that, thought it was fair, and I do as well. So this is what we've got to start with, and I'll just take a quick cruise around it. I haven't cleaned it or anything. It's in pretty good shape for sitting out in the shed. Like I say, it's got the twin bagger, which I've pulled off, but there's the bracket for it. I took the mowing deck off, so I've got a couple bungee cords holding some of the brackets up out of the way, so I could at least push this thing around until I get it running. And just pop the hood here. You got the 17.5 horse Briggs. I am not going to attempt to repair this or anything. It actually has a crack in the block. The piston rod shot right through the side of the block, and you really can't see it from here, but it's down in that area. And in the meantime, I was also cruising Craigslist and decided, why not throw something a little bigger on here. These engines are all pretty much the same bolt pattern. If you get a 1-inch shaft and a 4-bolt engine, you can pretty much drop anything on these, as most of you probably already know. So I came across essentially a brand new 21 horsepower Briggs & Stratton single cylinder off a John Deere lawn tractor. It's basically a takeoff. The story is that the John Deere was only several weeks old, I think 5 or 6 weeks old. Gentleman parked it in his garage one afternoon after doing the lawn first season, and of course his wife came home that day with a big SUV, a Ford Excursion, and she's backing into the driveway, pops the garage open, not used to a lawnmower being parked in the garage because he hadn't had it that long, and it was just something he did that day, and she actually crushed the tractor. But the good news is the tractor was pulled straight into the garage, so the Excursion pulled right into the back of the tractor and basically totaled the tractor, crushing it between the truck and the wall on the inside of the garage. And the engine was untouched, mint, but the body of the tractor was totaled, and obviously nothing they could do about that. There's no insurance to cover that sort of a lawn tractor incident. So he had a tractor that was useless with a brand new perfect Briggs & Stratton 21 horse engine, so he pulled the engine and scrapped the rest. And that engine runs somewhere around $700, and being brand new, I thought half of that would be a fair price, so I gave him $350 for it. So all total, I'm into this tractor for $550 with the twin bagger and the mower, which brand new, probably running $1,200–1,500 at Lowe's, and this will be just as good. So plan is today, pull this engine off and hopefully clean it up. I'm gonna get the power washer out, wash the thing all down before I drop the new 21 horse on, and at some point I'll update the video and show you where we stand. So see you soon. Okay guys, back again, and just probably only about 20 minutes into this, and you gotta love the MTD manufacturing process for these tractors. They're so simple to tear down and rebuild and what have you. So 20 minutes into it, and you can see I've got the hood off already, which basically just tilts forward and literally lifts off on some hinge pins, so there's no bolts or hardware necessary to take the hood off, but it is a pretty decent design. You can see down here on the brackets where the hood just sits into this and hinges forward. So that was great. And then in addition, you can see that I've got the engine pulley off the bottom of the motor, which is necessary to take the engine out, and you know, all the other little things here. I've got the light harness that I pulled out of the hood. Okay, set that aside. Got the fuel line, which I've disconnected from the carburetor. Okay, just put that out of the way, and I've basically got all of the mounting bolts removed from the engine. And on this side, the exhaust is removed from, or unbolted from, the engine. And over here you got the main wiring harness disconnected from the wiring loom that I tucked back here up out of the way. So this engine is basically ready to lift out already. You know, like I say, 20 minutes into this, all I have left to do is just about to remove the throttle cable and realize that this is not actually a screwdriver, or I should say a Phillips head screw, but a Torx bit. So I gotta grab my Torx wrenches and just pop that off, and this engine will be out. And while I'm at it, I just want to show you one of the only things really that wasn't in great shape on this tractor is it has a nice anti-slip pad here on the side of the tractor, and on the other side you can see over here this one is kind of ripped and torn. So good old eBay, as most of you probably know, you can pretty much get anything on eBay. I had ordered this new anti-slip strip, which I'll just cut to size and you know, trim up just like the other one, and it'll go there on the step, and that'll be like new once it's all trimmed up just like this one. Again, hasn't been washed or anything yet, so that's a little ways out. I'll do that later. Another thing on the dash, from when it was outside, you can see the discoloring up here on the dash, but I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried this stuff, but that, as seen on TV, stuff called Wipe New, I use it on my car and everything, and it's fantastic. It'll turn this just glossy black, just like when it was new. Same with the steering wheel and all that. So just to make the tractor like new again, I'll throw some of that Wipe New on there as well, and even put it on the seat, and it's amazing what that stuff does. So 15 bucks I think it was. It's pretty cheap. I don't have a lot of money in this tractor, so I can afford to make it look new again for just a few bucks. So I'll give you another update when we get the engine off. See you soon. Okay guys, back again. You can see just pulled the engine off. That was rather painless. Just took a couple of minutes because I didn't realize I forgot about one bolt. I missed removing this bolt right down under here, if you can see that, for the exhaust, and it was just tough getting in there with a wrench, so didn't realize that. Just flipped this sheet metal piece forward and was able to lift the whole engine out with the muffler on it, so I can just unbolt that one bolt now, pull the muffler off when I go to switch over the new engine. But not bad. There's a little grease down there from when the rod popped through the block, and oil went everywhere. So I like to use this stuff, gunk engine degreaser. Just spray that down all over the affected area and hose it off, and it'll be nice and clean again. So there's the old engine. Again, gotta love the simplicity of these things. I mean, it took nothing to get it off, and I've actually got the cover loose as well. Just pull the cover off. There's the air filter, which I can probably salvage the cover and casing, but again, I don't really plan on doing much with this engine itself because of the damage it's done to the block. It's not really worth my time. But the starter, a few other components here I'll certainly keep for spares. The carburetor is still great. It's just the block that's junk. Flywheel's decent. So that's where we stand, and I'm just gonna get my pressure washer out. I'm gonna soak that down with some gunk engine cleaner and degreaser, and we'll clean that up, clean the tractor up. I'll probably throw a quick spray paint coat of spray paint, excuse me, on the pulley there before I throw that on the new engine. And I also saw that when I pulled these out, one of the bulbs was burnt out, so I pulled it out. And I actually have some of these spares on hand. These are standard 1156 or 1157 bulbs, I believe. I have a bunch of those, and I have the nice LED ones that I use on my car. So I'll just probably replace both of those with some nice bright LEDs, and before I throw that back together. So yeah, looking good. Another update soon. Alright, so I just went ahead and sprayed down the tractor with the gunk engine degreaser, and got the muffler off the engine. Just had to take that one bolt off. Got those ready for the new engine, and I'm just waiting for this degreaser to sit in a little bit, soak in a little bit. I even sprayed some down on the hood over here. It's amazing how this grease just runs away from this stuff, so when I hit it with a pressure washer, it'll be nice and clean. I should mention that in any of my videos, if you hear me mention product names in particular, like in this video I've already mentioned, I know the Wipe New and the engine degreaser. I'm not in any way promoting these products or brand names or anything else. I just to let you know, this is what I'm using. I think sometimes can be helpful tips to other people that are doing similar projects, but there's no gain on my part there. Just letting you know what I use. Doesn't mean you have to use it. Also, another thing I was thinking about is some of you that are watching this video, you might be asking, you know, why have you spent $200 on the tractor and $350 on an engine, and you know that's $550, and whatever money you spend to repair it or work on it, whatever, and you know, you probably go out and buy a running tractor with a bagger on Craigslist for $350 or $400 or $500 even. And my answer to that is, if you're watching this video, you're probably a guy that likes to do things yourself just like I do. And I know that pretty much with everything out there, there's always room for improvement. So I like to do things myself and make things better than what they were. So why spend $1,500 on something new, you know, when I can buy something and make it the way I want it? It'll be perfect, and I'll spend a lot less money doing it, and I'll have fun doing it. So hopefully that's the same boat you're in. And you can see over here a couple other lawn and garden items. You know, I've got a little puller True Value tractor over here. It's a 14.5 horsepower Briggs, which this is my puller. There's a trailer for it over there. My boy was actually running this around just a little while ago, so that's why the trailer's off. But yeah, you know, overhead valve. Actually, this is the 14 horse, sorry, 14 horse overhead valve, industrial commercial. It's branded as a True Value, Briggs & Stratton. This is originally a 14 horse, 43-inch deck. It actually sits up considerably higher than some of the other tractors if you look there. I like this tractor because we don't use it as a mower, so it's good that it has the extra ground clearance. We use it for just pulling things around in that trailer, which is why I haven't done much of anything to it. It runs mint, so you know, why should I? That's just for yard work. And next to it, I just picked up this, another MTD, and this Yardman. Not a big fan of these, but this came as a package deal. I only paid $100 for this and this, and they, you know, they're well worth that. I mean, any of you probably know that the engines on these sell for a couple $100. So this is the 14.5 that I was thinking of. Also an industrial commercial Briggs, and that runs mint. Neither one of these have batteries in them, so I can't start them right now, but it runs good. It needs some other work. Basically, the guy got rid of this one because the deck is rotted out. I don't know how well you can see that, but especially on the other side, it's really rotted. And I don't care about the deck because, again, I got kids that like to run these around. We flip the pulleys over, make them faster, and let them boot around the yard. And for $100 for 2 tractors, I can't complain. It's a lot cheaper than buying them used quads for about $1,500 each. And at least this way they're running around the yard and I know where they are. So in the back, I picked this up at 50 bucks. This is a Sears heavy duty 3-speed rear end transaxle, and this is out of a Craftsman GT lawn tractor. And I bought this because my son and I, who's 15, are going to build a custom tractor from ground up. We are actually planning a 1.5-inch square stainless steel tube. Alright, so this, as I tried to say in my other video before my battery went dead, is a 3-speed heavy-duty transmission out of a Sears GT garden tractor. And I bought this for a project that my son and I are going to be building. We're going to build a tractor completely from scratch, and since I have access to some 1.5-inch square stainless steel tubing, we're going to build our frame out of a stainless steel square box tubing, which is nice and heavy. We're going to put some nice big agricultural tires on this tractor and really build a nice utility tractor. So probably put some wheel spacers on here, widen the axle a bit. We have lots of plans for the tractor, but we're actually going to build it around this transaxle. This is the baseline, because I like the old wheel horse style tractors that have the shifter between the legs, and that's pretty much what this is. It's a 3-speed plus reverse, and it also has high and low. So you really got 6 gears in forward, and you know, I think it's going to work out real well. So it'd be pretty cool just having that old manual shifter between the legs and build a nice solid tractor, as opposed to the MTD style yard tractors that typically have sheet metal style frames and all of that. They're obviously not very heavy duty, but they're great for yard work and that, as opposed to we might want to put a loader on the front of the tractor we build, for instance, and it's not really all that good idea to put a loader on a lawn tractor. So that's the plan. Now back to the project. Is my son Trevor playing basketball. He's the one that's gonna help me build the tractor, and he's the oldest of my 4. And back to this, I went ahead and used the degreaser and little power washer over here. You can see that little power washer. It does a pretty decent job. Although, you know, I love small engines. You can see out by the shed, got one of the snow blowers out there, got a rototiller out there. But you might be asking, why an electric power washer? Well, that's a good question, and the answer is because there is one thing that I do love more than small engines, and that is free. So yes, I got this little power washer for free. It was given to me, and that's the reason I don't have a gas-powered power washer, which I might get someday if this thing quits on me, but for now it does a pretty decent job. So if it's free, it's for me. That's my motto. And here you can see the power washer and the degreaser did a pretty good job. There's no grease left on the frame. I'm just waiting for it to kind of dry off a little bit. I might have to take a rag to it before I can start thinking about putting the new engine on. And sprayed some of that degreaser on the hood over here. I still have to wash it. You can see all the grease kind of running away, and I'll just rinse that before I put it on. But you got to look at this tractor. I mean, I just gave it a quick wash. This thing is pretty mint. I thought it was, I was told it was a 2006 when I bought it, but I just flipped the seat and noticed, I mean, you can see the springs, they're not all rusty or anything. They're in really nice shape. And here's the tag underneath, and if that focuses and you can read it, it says DOM, which is date of manufacture. In the far right corner is 6/2007. So this was actually built in June 2007. I imagine it was probably sold somewhere 2007, 2008. So given that, I would say this tractor being just start of 2015, it is somewhere between 7, 8 years old. So not bad at all. The labels are all still in good shape. There's, you know, the body is essentially perfect. Just gave it a quick power wash, but not even a soapy wash, just a rinse, really, a power rinse. And I am quite pleased with the way it looks already. You can see the rims aren't all rusty or anything. They're in nice shape. Tires are all perfect tread. This is going to be a really, really nice tractor. And once again, $1,200-1,500 for a new one, or you know, $550 plus a few hours of elbow grease, and got myself a really nice tractor. So hope you guys think it was as good a score as I do, but $200 plus $350 for an engine, gotta love it. Here's my other son, the second in line. That's Dale, and Dale and Trevor playing basketball. And at the door is little Paige. That's my 4-year-old daughter. Say hi, Paige. And Paige is excited about the tractors too, because we're gonna build probably that little yard man, the green one, for Paige to be able to drive around the yard. So she's excited to be able to run around with the boys this summer. So, and then we have little Curtis, who is just 3 months old, and he's getting ready inside to go out for a ride with Mama. So anyway, there's the update. Like I say, I'm gonna dry this thing off and think about bringing out the new 21 horse John Deere Briggs & Stratton and bolting it down in place so we can get this tractor up and running. See you soon. Alright, so well, today turned out to be the first very nice day that we've had this spring, and I moved over in the driveway here so that my wife could get her car out, taking my son and daughter out for a ride at the store. So Trevor and I are still here, and as you can see, I've brought out the new 21 horse John Deere engine, Briggs & Stratton, but off of John Deere. And you can see that looking at the original 17.5 horse Briggs and the John Deere 21, obviously very, very similar. They're both overhead valve engines, essentially the same, and like I've said in the past, pretty much any 15 to I think 22, 23 horse single cylinder Intech style overhead valve engine have all the same bolt pattern, 4-bolt pattern, and engine configuration where parts are pretty much interchangeable, exhaust, carburetors, so on and so forth. So just a quick look around the engine on engines. On this side you can see the starter and the electrical plug. Same thing over there in the John Deere, the starter, electrical plug. On the back you can see maybe you can see at the bottom, they're both 1-inch shaft, same length. The oil filler is in the same location, and of course the throttle cable bracket is also in the same location and same configuration. So, you know, just a bolt-in swap. It's so simple, anyone can do this. One nice thing I like about this 21 horse, you can see it has the spin-on oil filter on the side, which the 17.5 does not. So that's nice. Change the oil, change the filter, right? And the one difference too, another difference I should say, you can see this 1/2-inch rubber hose. That actually is a vacuum powered fuel pump, and the reason for that is the John Deere this came off of had a rear mounted gas tank versus the TROY-BILT style where the gas tank is right up front and above the level of the carburetor. So this is a gravity fed fuel line that runs from the tank down into the carburetor, and there's no need for a fuel pump. So I'm just gonna pull that hose off and plug the vacuum line since I don't have a rear mounted gas tank. So some differences, but not enough to make a difference. And as mentioned, overhead valve, John Deere, 21 horsepower, Briggs & Stratton. So I'll just drop that on. One tip I wanted to throw out there, if anybody hasn't done this before and you need to swap an engine on one of these tractors, any MTD style, whether it's TROY-BILT, Murray, I don't know, Husky, there's so many of them, Yardman, what you want to do really is the engine bolts into the frame from underneath. So meaning the bolts actually come in from the bottom, come up through these holes and into the engine block. So positioning the engine on the frame sometimes can be tricky, just if you're working from underneath trying to line up the hole. So to position it properly when you're dropping the engine on the frame, because these are fairly heavy, What I've done is I've gone ahead and cut 3 pieces of threaded rod, and this threaded rod allows me, I'm going to show you on the old engine because I really don't care about flipping this over or damaging it versus the new one, which I do obviously. So what I do is I take these threaded rod and just start them into these holes on the new engine. Alright, and once you've got them in all 4, just slightly threaded in, you can pick up the engine and drop it into the frame, and the threaded rod will go down through the holes, which lines it up perfectly. And then you can reach under, unthread the threaded rod, and swap it out with a bolt. So it just makes things very easy to line it up. If you don't have any threaded rod, you can take a bolt and just use a hacksaw or a cut-off saw, whatever you got, whiz wheel. Just chop the head off of the bolt, and you know, and you can do it that way. But just a quick tip for you. I do this all the time, and if there's an easy way to do something, I'll find it. So here we go. Just gonna pick that engine up, put the threaded rod in it, drop it on the frame, and we'll come back to you. Oh, swish! Nice shot. Alright, so I got the threaded rod threaded into the bottom of the new engine, and I'm just gonna lift it up, put it into the frame. These are somewhat heavy, but not ridiculous. One average size guy can handle it. You don't necessarily need 2 people, but you don't want to be careful because you don't want to damage anything, especially the shaft. So just gonna tip it nice and slow. And use the holes to guide me. There she is. So you can see how easy that was with 4 pieces of threaded rod in the holes. The engine's exactly where it needs to be. That's how it's going to sit. And now taking these bolts that thread up into the engine, I can just reach under, spin out my first threaded rod, the other 3 and the weight and everything else obviously holds the engine in place, and I can take the bolt and thread it right in without struggling trying to find the hole. And I'll do the same thing all the way around. Take the second threaded rod out, second bolt. Third one. And another reason I like this method is because a lot of guys need some sort of a lift to raise up the front end of the tractor to see what they're doing. They actually sell, you've probably seen sling lifts designed for tractors and ATVs, but I don't have one, and I'm not going to go spend $100 or $200 for one. It's not something you use all the time. There's number 4 and the last bolt. And obviously I put these in finger tight. I'll come back at them with a wrench and tighten them all up, but that's all there is to it. So if you haven't tackled one of these before, you can see how easy it is. The fuel line, just to reconnect that right here to the side of the carburetor. It's in exactly the same place as the factory one, so bingo. I'll use some pliers, put the clip on there. The throttle cable, I need to get my Torx wrench again and put the starter cable in place, but that's in the same place. Very easy to hook that up. The headlights we deal with later when we put the hood back on. And the wiring harness, as I showed you before on the other side, it's the same plug. John Deere, TROY-BILT, whatever, it's a Briggs & Stratton overhead valve. So there's no, you know, wondering how does this match up or whatever. You can't mess it up. It's just literally a plug and play installation. And then the power lead for your starter, I have to get a wrench because the nuts on there are kind of tight. Again, same place, put it on there, tighten the nut, and this thing's ready to fire. Nothing to it. So anyway, we will have this running in the next few minutes. I'm going to throw the muffler back on, which, as you saw before, 2 bolts on one side, 1 on the other, and the muffler's in place, goes right back, sits down into the belly of the front end. The sheet metal guard flips over the front, and we throw the hood back on. So all in the matter of about an hour, we've swapped an engine, and then we'll go back at it to finish it out. One more thing before I stop the video. Trevor, if you want to come around here, I just want to point out, I had pulled the battery out because the battery was dead. He never disconnected it during the winter. And it looks nice and clean. It's a genuine Briggs & Stratton battery, and it's an oversized battery. A lot of the lawn and garden batteries at Walmart or whatever, slightly smaller than this. I've got one in one of the MTDs over there. But I'm not going to go run out and buy a new battery if this one's good. And as we discovered, the tractor was actually built in 2007. And the interesting thing is, I wouldn't expect the battery to actually last 7 or 8 years. So if you see down here on the side, most batteries, all automotive batteries and any batteries really, they usually have a date code of some sort. And this is one of the typical types of date codes you'll find. It's a little sticker. This one happens to say E3. And what that is, if you don't know, the E is for the month of the year, and the 3 is the last digit of the year. So in this case, A, B, C, D, E is 5 months in. So this was a May battery of what could have been 2003 or 2013. Now clearly, if the tractor was built in 07, they're not going to put a 4-year-old battery in a brand new tractor. So I am fairly confident that this is 2013, which was just a year and a half ago. So the guy probably replaced the battery, which would have been about right. In 2013, being a 2007 tractor, he got 6 years out of it, and that's more than you'd expect out of a factory original battery. So I recharged this battery. It held. It's pulling over, showing over 13 volts at full charge. So I'm going to drop that back in, reconnect it, and we're ready to fire up the new engine. I, of course, want to check the oil and everything else in the new engine before we go ahead and fire it, but it won't take long to do that. So, all right. So there's the update. Talk to you soon. All right, so that should be it. Got everything connected, got the starter connected, the wiring harness connected, put the muffler on, connected the throttle and choke cable, connected the fuel line. That's pretty much it. Put some gas in, check the oil, which is brand new oil, brand new filter. So we're good for our first cold start of the new engine. And hopefully, fingers crossed, all goes well. Just reconnected the battery. And we're in neutral, brakes on, and forgot to put the key in. So, if I can remember which key it is, because I haven't actually run this thing yet. This one. Yeah. And here we go. Nothing. another try now that it warmed up a little bit. Turn the key. I forgot, didn't realize, because this is the first time I've actually started this tractor since I bought it. Even though the e-brake is engaged, the e-brake is also the clutch, and you have to press it just that much more for the clutch to be engaged for it to let you to start it. So. That's really nice. Love it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and throw the pulley on. Over here, we gave it a quick coat of paint. The original pulley had no paint on it. They tend to rust. So I just gave it a quick coat of Rust-Oleum. And seems to be dry. It's been out here for a while now this morning. So we'll go ahead and throw the pulley on and we'll be able to drive this thing. Maybe we'll throw the deck on, throw the bagger on. So we'll update you in a little bit. Alright, so we're ready to go. I just threw the pulley on, got the belt engaged, and gonna give it our first drive. And then we'll put the hood back on and ready for the deck, and we're good. So here we go. Alright, put the hood on, probably put the new lights in, throw the deck on, bagger, and we're ready to mow the grass. Alright, so the hood's on. You can see that plenty of clearance. Like I said, all these engines are pretty much the same, and MTD designs most of this stuff to be pretty compatible. So just drop the hood back on the hinge pins, and there's plenty of clearance in the new motor. There it is. So last thing I want to do right now is, I told you the bulbs, one of them was burnt out. I picked up a couple of these LED bulbs a while back for, I had a few of them for my car, but these little bulbs, they look a little funky, but they're really bright LED style 1156 replacements. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these into the tractor, wiring harness over here, and push, twist, out it comes. And this new one, even though it's completely different style and very short or small, drop that in, push, twist, click, done. The other one, same deal, push, twist, click, done. Okay. And I got some nylon zip ties here that I use to secure the wiring under the hood now that we're probably not going to be taking the hood off again anytime soon. So what I'll do first is just drop the lights into place, the headlights. Those actually can be a little tricky locking them in place, but now they're in. And the wiring here, you just want to kind of keep it up out of the way, so there's a nice little spot right down here with a hole. And actually, you know something, it would have been smarter. I'm gonna get these back out. I'm gonna fish this down through here instead. That way it's away from the exhaust as well. And I can put my zip tie down through here and around. Just drop that one for a minute. Come on, there we go. And I'll just zip that right there. Clip with some scissors in a little while. Give myself a little slack. Pop this back in, which is easier said than done, as I mentioned. Sometimes. Okay, 1. And 2. Connections are good. Tied up out of the way. Just grab some scissors and clip the zip tie. And that's off and out of the way, and we're good. Now, check out the headlights. And you can probably see even in the sunlight, those are pretty bright. So we got some sweet new LED headlights for the TROY-BILT. Alright guys, tractor is pretty much complete. Can throw the mowing deck on and we're done. Alright, so this discoloration on the dash and the steering wheel and even the bagger, this is stuff I was talking about, that wipe new that I got. Just comes with some rags and some liquid, and you're not supposed to actually rub this on, you just wipe it on, but I was really impressed. I use it on my car and I know that it's perfect for what we're trying to do here. So I'm just gonna open this up, put some on this rag, and obviously no trick photography here, but seriously, you wipe this on and the discoloration and the black all comes right back. It's pretty good stuff. And the nice thing is it lasts. It's not like Armor All that doesn't last. When you put it on, it stays on.
That smells like paint.
Yeah.
No, that
So I'm just gonna, on the steering wheel here, see that? Just the gray just kind of goes away and turns black again. It's pretty amazing. It's almost like a clear coat. This is why you don't rub it on, you just wipe it on, because I think it's this chemical, it stays as like a coating, and that's why it stays versus Armor All that wears off, because this adheres to whatever it goes on. and I don't know, I like it. I think it works well.
Now
You can see all this gray on the back of the unit, and just wipe it on and it turns black. Makes things look new again.
Dad, you gonna try it?
This is the one we use on the car, honey, and we use it on anything else that needs polishing. Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Aren't you gonna try it?
Yeah, we are.
But there's no leaves.
No?
No, but there's some over there.
Not bad for 15 bucks. It goes a pretty long way. It'll cover this, it'll take care of this whole thing. Not a lot of products out there that I can really rant and rave about, but this is one of them. I think it's well worth the money, and it lasts a very long time. At least a year anyway, before I have to worry about doing it again. If I care about doing it again. Not bad.
That is gas.
I put a little more on the dash. This is the one thing that got a little too sun beaten, I guess, because it's the only thing it's not really bringing back beautifully, but the rest of the dash and the steering wheel came out really good.
Everything just looks good.
You can see how nice and black this all came back. That's about it. Could do the top of the engine too, the black plastic here. Although this is brand new and really doesn't need it, but good added protection against discoloration. Look at that.
Dada,
Yes, honey.
one time I saw your tool over there next to the hoop.
And you did a good job bringing it back, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good girl. All right, that's about it. So,
You gonna try it?
there we go.
Dad, you gonna try
There's
it?
a little left. I might as well use it on the seat. I don't want to throw it away.
You gonna use it?
Although the seat's in good shape too, no rips.
You gonna try it?
Oh yeah. Like Armor All on steroids. That should last a long time. Brandy new.
You gonna try it out?
We did, honey, but we're going to try it again later when we put the mowing deck on. There we go. Hope you liked the videos, guys. See you next time.